Hi, my name is Elizabeth McNulty, and thank you so much for joining me for my 7th book critique. This week, the main text I chose to focus on is the Pura Belpré award-winning historical fiction book by Pam Nunez called Esperanza Rising. This follows the story of a young girl named Esperanza who lives in Mexico with her family, and they live very comfortably because they are very well off. However, soon her luck changes as her father is murdered and she essentially loses all her money. She and her mother flee to the U.S. and face many challenges there as well. When they come to the U.S., it is during the time that the U.S. is faced with the Great Depression. Both of them end up having to take on several laborious jobs and face countless challenges along the way. Esperanza deals with many different ups and downs throughout the story, but maintains hope and is willing to do whatever it takes to help her family. I love this book because I love the themes of working hard to achieve your goals and never losing hope, even in some of the seemingly worst situations. For this text, I chose to do a social studies and a language arts lesson for 5th grade. For the social studies lesson, I would have the students read the book over a given period of time. When they have completed reading the book, as a culminating activity, I would have them do some extra research about the Great Depression in America and what life was like for people, but especially immigrants at the time. I would ask the students to create a narrated presentation using Google Slides to depict some of the culture and history that they found in their research that was associated with life during the Great Depression for immigrants. When they have completed their own presentation, I would actually have them all share their presentations on a universal thread, such as through using their Gmail account, so that each presentation is viewable for the entire class. Here's a Google Slide presentation that I created as an example of what the students' presentations may look like. Here's the video. What exactly was the Great Depression? The Great Depression was an economic slump in North America, Europe, and other industrialized areas of the world that began in 1929 and lasted until 1939. It was the longest and most severe depression ever experienced by the industrialized Western world. What impact did it have on immigrants? Specifically in Mexico, the Immigration Act of 1924 excluded Asian immigration. The U.S. turned to Mexico as its primary source of cheap labor during the 1920s. With its proximity to the U.S., Mexico supplied thousands of both legal and undocumented workers to labor on farms and ranches and in construction and mining in the Midwest and Southwest. These immigrants joined Mexican Americans, some of whom were descendants of Mexicans who had entered the U.S. following the Mexican War of 1846. At the time of the Depression, several hundred thousand people of Mexican ancestry were living in the U.S. Rampant job losses caused by the Depression generated anti-Mexican sentiment, which had grown following World War I and had since redoubled with the massive number of Mexicans who immigrated during the mid-90s. So you get the gist of it, what an example would look like. For the language arts lesson, I would have the students create a virtual display of the book. They would create a visual image online that would depict their perspective of the story, combining whatever elements of the story they see fit. After doing this, they would write a few paragraphs explaining why they chose to depict their visual in the way that they did. The other 4 books I chose to focus on for this 7th set of critiques were The Dot, Because of Winn-Dixie, The Wright Brothers, and The Girl Who Drank the Moon. The Dot is a book written and illustrated by Peter Reynolds that won the Christopher Award for Young People. It is a picture book that outlines the story of a girl who thinks she can't draw, until she discovers that she is capable of creating some really great pictures simply by using different kinds of dots. This is a great book to use for kids, especially to promote the idea that every student has the ability to be creative, even if their creativity looks different from the other students in the class. Because of Winn-Dixie is one of my favorite books by one of my favorite authors, Kate DiCamillo. It is a realistic fiction book that won the Newbery Honor Medal. It follows the story of a girl named Opal who moves to Florida with her father. She claims a dog who ends up becoming a great companion to Opal and is a very influential part of her life and the story. This book really focuses on the idea that there is so much more to appreciate in life, even though there may be some sadness that comes with life. The Wright Brothers by Russell Freedman is the proud winner of the Newbery Honor Medal. It is an informational biography that gives great insight into the lives and accomplishments of the very famous Wright brothers, who are accredited with being the first people to have a successful man-controlled flight. These men were a very influential part of the history of America, and it is important for students to be knowledgeable about them and their contributions. Finally, the last book I chose to focus on is The Girl Who Drank the Moon by Kelly Barnhill. This is a modern fantasy book that won the Newbery Medal. It is a very captivating book about love and the magic of the everyday world. It would definitely keep the students interested and engaged, and would help promote imagination and creativity. Thanks for tuning in for this week's set of book critiques. See you next time.